Hello, I'm Christina, and I'm here with Martina,
Hello, welcome.
and we're your podcast hosts for Everyday Ordinary Extraordinary Women. We were inspired to create this podcast after pondering on this question. What would a world look like where we can be inspired by every person? Usually, we're very quick to compare and judge ourselves and others, and when we do that, everybody's losing. Depending on my point of view, I can either feel small because I come out lacking or arrogant and dismissive because I feel superior. Those are the only two options from that perspective, and neither of those make us feel very good. So here's our thought: someone's everyday normal is somebody else's extraordinary. Judgment comes from first impressions. So we invite you, the listener, to go beyond your first impressions and see the magic everywhere. There's inspiration at every corner in everyone if we're willing to look. And today we're so happy to have with us Doris. So, Doris, please introduce yourselves to our guests.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. It's really a wonderful theme. I'm Doris, I'm from Switzerland, and I lived in the States for many years, and now I'm back in Switzerland. And currently I'm working on collecting 1 million signatures for a declaration of the rights of Mother Earth to complement the Human Rights Declaration. That's my biggest dream right now.
Well, it's so much bigger than a dream, Doris. You're in action making this happen right now. So do you know how many signatures you're up to right now?
We just surpassed 300,000 signatures, 304,000 signatures last week.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So it's so much bigger than a dream. You actually have your organization, you have your website, you were just at the UN. So you're in action making this happen, and your commitment to this project is just so inspiring, Doris. Like, most people have dreams, but this one is so huge to actually create this declaration with the UN and make it happen is just, it's so big. And how do you get started with a project like that? I think that's where I want to start right today. What's the first step of having this dream and making it happen?
It was, I think, first of all, I grew up in Switzerland in a small village in the mountains. And my dad used to, the families of that village used to take turns to go out on a walkabout in the forest to see that the deer are well and all the animals are well, and to look at the river to see if the river is, if there's any trash in the river or polluted, and if anything was off, we would get together and fix it. And my mom used to say when we came home, like my dad used to take me by his hand, and then we would come back home, and mom used to ask, "Tout va bien?" which means, "Is everything okay?" And my father only answered, "Tout va bien," if everything was okay. So for me, if nature is well, humans are well. And the animals are well. And only if the animals and nature and the rivers and the sky and the earth is well, the world is well. So I think that was the original inspiration. But how did I get started? I volunteered for the Hunger Project for many, many years. And one time I was in Bangladesh, following the footsteps of the director of the project there, who I admired. And they had just, with all their might, built the homes for the families. And a flood came and flushed it all down the river. And I was just about to cry. They worked so hard. And he said, "Yeah, no wonder. I mean, people can work as much as possible and all their life to work to end hunger and poverty. But if they clear cut the forests in the Himalayas, we'll have floods over and over again. So then I took a course once, in transformational course, and we were asked, what has always caught your attention ever since you were a little child? And you thought someone should do something about this. And to me, immediately taking care of Mother Earth and nature came to my mind. And then he said, write 7 steps, write some steps down and take 7 steps in the direction of where you think this project should be going, and see if doors open. So the first half a year, I basically collected opening doors. And within 3 months, I was in the rainforest where I met someone who was working on that same thing. Because I wrote this project down in the middle of the night after I finished this course. And I wrote down, that's it. We've got to ask for a declaration of rights of Mother Earth. It just doesn't make sense that we only have a human rights declaration, which was necessary at the time when it was adopted. This was after World War II in 1948, when humans were suffering greatly. So they decided to adopt the Declaration of Rights of Mother Earth. And it's very important, rights of human rights, and that's very important. But today we need the same for nature. It just doesn't make sense that the UN is only human-centered and not Earth-centered as well. Mother Earth, she who is the base of all life. So
we wouldn't be alive without her.
Yeah,
right?
we are.
You know, and
Water.
that's what I, like what I keep getting is like, without nature, there is no humans, period. But we don't care about her. We don't, we just don't, we squander what she, we take it for granted. We squander, we feel that we are more important than nature, rather than getting that without nature, there's no humans.
We live like there's an endless supply of everything at our disposal, and it's not the truth. And I think we're starting to learn that now. That things are finite, and yeah. So Doris, answer this question for us. If we really knew you, what would we know about you?
Sometimes I like to be goofy. I think humor takes us a long way.
Absolutely.
It's so funny because Christina asked the question, and if you're not seeing the video, so let me see if I can paint you a picture. Doris just pulled back and made this mischievous face, and then she said, and then she said what she said, and I was like, I could see it before you said anything. I was like, yeah, I totally get that, like that little mischievous,
Well, and it's funny too, because in a conversation of like balance, right? That we need balance in the world. We need, can't just be humans. We have to balance humans and nature all together. Of course, you're going to need you have such a huge commitment to Mother Earth that you need humor and comedy to balance the serious stuff you're working on all day long, right?
Yes, that helps.
Beautiful.
Yeah, otherwise we drown in outrage or in sorrow or whatever, right? So, yeah. So Doris, tell us something funny or silly or embarrassing.
Something funny. When I was still going to see if doors open for the the petition of the rights of Mother Earth, our first goal was to collect 1 million signatures and deliver them to Ban Ki-moon at the Earth Summit in Rio plus 2012, which we did, but we tried to do it the way you're supposed to do it, by writing letters to the UN and asking for a reception and for a time and a place to deliver it. And I wanted to deliver them to Ban Ki-moon at the final stakeholder briefing. I never got any answer. So I figured never mind, we'll go anyway. So we went, and we went from one event to another, and it was fabulous in Rio. And we went to the favelas, to schools, and we had fun with the kids. And then on the way back, we took a bus back to our hotel. And I sit there, and my friend starts to talk to someone in the back of the bus. She usually didn't talk. And then on the way out, he looked at me and said, "Oh, are you the lady who wants to present the signatures to Ban Ki-moon? Here's my phone number. Give me a call tonight and I'll tell you when and where to do it." Isn't that a miracle? He was a senator, a Brazilian senator who was also participating at the summit. And I mean, what's the chance to meet someone on a bus that will tell you such a thing? So I think that's the most miraculous of this whole story.
Oh, that's just beautiful. And it is, like it's one of those open doors, right? It's like one of the things that keeps coming to me is, if it's hard, it's not what you're supposed to be doing. The easy way is where you need to go, right? Don't push your head against the wall or try to force the outcome. Just like follow whatever needs to be done. You felt like you needed to go to Rio. Great, do that. Then you're sitting on the bus, and then there's this person, like, and your colleague who never talks to anyone starts talking to someone. Wow, right? It's like just the coincidences, just follow the opening doors. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it illustrates how easy manifesting can be too, right? When you can just put it out there and not be attached to the results, then they easily show up when you're looking, So sometimes we don't believe how easy it can be until you have those little synchronicity, things happen, and then you're like, oh, it could always be this easy. We think sometimes life has to be so hard, and it doesn't really.
Thanks for the reminder of letting go of the outcome. I think that was a big part of the magic.
Yeah. And enjoying the journey, right? Like you were thoroughly enjoying your time in Rio too. And
we did, yeah. It was an eye-opener. It was a gift to be there. It was so exciting.
Yeah. So Doris, what would you say your superpower is?
Oh, I have superpowers?
Of course you do.
I think to serve. I think I decided a long time ago, even as a child, if I am willing to serve, I get to go anywhere and I get to make a contribution, and that's fulfilling.
It's beautiful. Anything else?
Being goofy. Especially with children. I was a nanny in New York for many years. And I love to be goofy with them, and they loved that. And that was just the sweetest thing.
So don't take life so serious all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And it's really like, it's really like, I want to come back to that, right? When you have these big heavy topics, Well, first there is the whole thing about laughter making it easy to learn and to grow, right? But it also breaks that heaviness of the subject you're dealing with, because it is a big, heavy subject in a way, right? It's like it reminds me of Marianne Williamson always saying, okay, we're heading for the iceberg and we'll keep doing what we're doing, right? And yes, we are, it is that serious. And can we bring that lightness, because that will make it more palatable for people. Like people can hear better if you bring lightness to the conversation, if you bring your goofiness and your playfulness to it. Yeah. So Doris, tell us when you took a chance for love. And it's not necessarily romantic love, but when did you take a chance for love?
I think the whole project, Rights of Mother Earth, is an act of love. And I knew it would take a long time, but love, like when I give a presentation, I sometimes don't dare to mention the love of part of the whole project, but recently I just did. When we remember where we came from, when we think of Mother Earth or nature, when we close our eyes and we picture ourselves in our most favorite place in nature, isn't love present? When we think of a deer, isn't love present? Isn't it all about love? Even life is all about love. And even in the most serious business context, we should dare to speak that. Because if we, like I was trained in retail business management, and the highest creed in the 80s was to calculate the lowest purchasing price for an article. Like we had to go to the countries where the wages were the lowest and environmental protection laws were the least. And that's where we could get this product produced the cheapest. Mm-hmm. We had to overrule our feelings for these human beings who work in those sweat lodges 12 hours a day for $1 a day. We had to overrule knowing that mining in those countries causes the destruction of nature. And if we stood up, like I did at the time, I remember I once stood up and said, that's not ethical. You can't do that. And I was called naive. But I stood for the love of those people and the love of nature. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, we've gone 40 years into making a career and making money on Wall Street, and it got trained out of us to love other beings, to love nature, to love mothers who work in sweat lodges with their babies on the side. It got trained out of us, but it's in us. If we stand for that love, I think we could end wars. We could heal Mother Earth. We could heal whole families. For me, life, it's all about love. Everything we do, if we do it and listen to our inner self and the love that is yearning to jump up and say, remember, it's all about love. Our children, our pets, our dogs, the rivers, clean air, the birds, the elephants, the deer, my husband, my wife,
my crazy neighbor, right? Like all of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it truly is what life is all about, and we so forget that. Like, and then we're looking for love all over the place when yet it's truly all around us in every moment if we truly just step back and look.
And allow it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I think part of it comes from, okay, so let me see, let me just backtrack. So in Europe, I'm going to say with the patriarchy, and we all, women and men, have the patriarchy within us, right? It was all in service of me, right? It's all in service of me. Everything is here to serve me and me alone, and I am the center of the universe, right? And then if you look at the natural cultures, whether it is the Native Americans or in Australia, Aborigines, it's all about keeping the balance. And it's like many of those are matriarchal cultures where it's about keeping the balance because one without the other, like if you lose, everybody loses. But we don't live, we were trained in this patriarchal system. And so our inner patriarch doesn't let us go of the comparison and the judgment and the fighting for me, rather than for us. It's not about the greater good, it's about the good of all, right? It's like the good of every person. And if we get to see that, and like the movement, everybody, like many psychics talk about it, many astrologists talk about it, we're moving towards unity. And that's that, like that love, right? That coming together, that communion, I want to say, where we move away from that quite selfish way of looking at the world. But it's just a different kind of background where that came from, one from the other, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So what fills you up? What gives you the energy to keep doing what you're doing? What refills those batteries? And
Again, giving, I think. Living for giving is, or seeing a child overcome something she didn't think she could do, or like being someone who can just give a little nudge and she can make it. That's the most fulfilling. Or achieving something together and seeing the joy in other people's faces.
it's so beautiful.
Like
For those of you
what
who can't see,
it's
Doris is
together.
just extremely lit up as she talks about being of service to other people and helping other people. Like just the most beautiful thing to watch. For those of you who can't see, I just want to let you know that.
And I also love that you're kind of bouncing on your seat, right? It's all about togetherness. That's what I hear in what you're sharing, right? It's not you alone in your little apartment trying to devise a plan, but it's just like the coming together and creating something together. Yeah.
Very much so, yeah. I'm early retired now from my job, and now I'm finding myself being at home too much on my own working, and I decided, nope, that's not it. I've got to go out, do something at least in the morning. So I volunteer on a farm in the morning, and I'm looking to merge actually with another organization, the Earth Law Center, just to have a tribe, to be with a tribe who is up to the same thing. Good-hearted, giving souls together. It's much more fun and productive too.
So I am inspired by that answer, and so I love Oracle decks, and I have a new Oracle deck that's about getting me connected with nature. And so I pulled a card last week, and it's like change your career so you can be out in nature more. And although I don't want to change my career, I could volunteer on a farm or something like that, which would give me more time with nature and giving back. And so you've just inspired me, Doris. So thank you.
And the other thing that I think is quite important in what you're saying is like we all need our tribes, right? We really need our tribes. We need that coming together of like-minded souls. Now I have to be careful how I say that, because there's plenty of that where people get together and just put other people down, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're just talking about like-minded people in love. in love, picking each other up rather than tearing others down.
Correct.
So I just felt I needed to add that, because it's like, yeah, well, there's plenty of people that get together and consider themselves tribes, but it's like the world is so divided right now, particularly here in the US, right? And it's like, okay, well, yeah, we need to start lifting each other up. We need to start inspiring each other. We need to start seeing the greatness in each other. And I just so appreciate, Doris, what you're sharing and what you're committed to. And it's just so exciting. As you know, like I've been told that I have elfin blood, right? So as a creature of Gaia, I am so happy that you're doing what you're doing. So if you had a magic wand and you could give people any quality, what would it be and why?
Oh, live your love and light. Shine your light. Live your love.
So can you tell us more about that? What would that provide, or why do you want to give people that quality?
For people to feel fulfilled and to give and receive, and not to give in order to receive, but to feel fulfilled, and I by doing what they love, and dare to be free to do what you love and be more happy, and I think peace would prevail. Peace and well-being and for all of life.
Yeah, when people, there's really nothing to fight against, right?
Yeah. Be kind.
And if they shine their light, it's almost like if everybody's light lit up, there is no space for the dark.
Yeah, beautiful. I was just thinking that before you said it. Yeah. This little light of yours, you're gonna let it shine.
So good. So Doris, I'm going to give you a multi-part question, and you can answer this. It might be one answer for the whole thing. You might take one piece of this. I'm going to read it, and you can answer it however you want. So what made you who you are today? For example, what was your biggest lesson? What took the most courage? When did you stand up for something that mattered to you?
I think two things stick out. One, I decided to move to America when I was 18. And that was a big change. I moved from a little village in Switzerland to Manhattan. And it just opened my horizon. And I had to learn English and just become a whole new person to make it. And then when I returned to Switzerland, actually it was only temporarily. I was laid off from American Airlines in New York, so I figured I'll go and try Swiss Air. And in the meantime, I had to learn French. And that's how I ended up volunteering for the Hunger Project in Geneva. And my dear friend who ran the Hunger Project at the time, she said, "Oh, good, we need somebody for the youth program. There is a European Youth Conference in Lübeck. Why don't you go there?" And I thought, wow, she really thinks I could do that. Someone thought I could do something that I didn't think I could do. That was part one of that. So I went, and there was this inspiring, wonderful man who was leading that huge conference with, I don't know, hundreds of youth from all over the world. And he said, it was about the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, which came out of the Children's Summit in 1990. And the Declaration of the Rights of the Child was supposed to be ratified by all the countries. So the gentleman who was leading the conference said, so who in here would take on for your country to get the country to ratify the Declaration of the Rights of the Child? And my hand went up, and I'm like, what did I just do? My hand went up before my brain agreed. I mean, I was 27 at the time, and there was a young girl, 16, next to me, who had taken on peace in Ethiopia with 16. And I thought, wow, where have I been? If this girl, 16, took on such a huge project that was then called into reality by Mikhail Gorbachev and Raisa Gorbachev, led by a 16-year-old girl. And I'm like, if she can do that, I better get my act together and do something too. And my hand went up. That's when I became an activist. There was no return. I could never return back to just living my life for myself. And I became who I needed to be. I went into full action for a year and a half to then present like 8,000 letters to the Swiss government in front of the White House in Bern. And it was on all 3 national televisions, and all 8 Bundesräte were there, and the Swiss government signed and ratified the declaration. I had no clue how to do that. It wasn't me, I swear. It was something else. It was everything aligned to get this done. And there were many mistakes, and I had a lot of people helping, but it was like, I became a new person. I became the person who fulfilled on that word that jumped out of my mouth.
So many good tidbits in there, but I love how you saw the inspiration from the people around you, and you're like, okay, if they can do it, I can do this, right? It starts with one person, why not me? And I mean, I think that is part of why we're here doing this podcast, right? That we want people to see the inspiration that ordinary people can do anything, because we're all extraordinary. It's all the ordinary things we do every day that make our extraordinary lives. And so that's what we want people to see, that any single person with a dream can create magic in this world.
And yeah, surely if I could pull something like that off, I was just living my own life until then.
For me, there's 2 things. One is the word unstoppable. Like,
yes,
that's what I keep hearing. I listen to what you're saying, and it's unstoppable, unstoppable, unstoppable. And the other thing is the power of somebody seeing you bigger than what you think you are. And that is so extremely important, right? That we look at people's greatness rather than people's smallness, right? That's an act of love again, right? But you had that person seeing you much bigger than what you saw yourself, and an invitation to step into it. And you could have said no, but still it was there. There was something there that invited you to step into that place, right? And how powerful that is for people to provide that for anyone, really, for anyone, right? It's like seeing what is possible rather than what is real or what is not possible, or whichever version of that. So
yeah, she always saw possibility.
Yeah,
she was a great teacher for me.
Yeah, and you stepped into it though, right?
Yeah, I trusted her. I figured, well, if she says that, then sure.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure that you take credit for your part because you stepped into it. It's not just, yes, she provided that space of possibility and you heard it, but you took the action to step into it. It was your choice because you could have said, "Nah, I'm not going to do that." Right? So,
Yeah.
so I want to just speak that out loud and acknowledge that as one piece of the whole puzzle. So, Doris, who or what do you want to be when you grow up? Like if you could do anything or be anyone, anything or anyone, what would you do and why? Like no limitations, no restrictions, nothing.
I think I mean, this sounds tacky, but I would like to have a lot of money to invest in the work of organizations who work on the rights of nature, who work on the end of hunger. Like if I could have millions to make the world a better place, I think that's where my next growth and development comes.
So would you be a billionaire or would you be a benefactor or would you be who or what would you be? A fairy godmother?
I don't even know what to answer. I'm picturing a bank in the shape of a heart.
Wow.
That gives out money to heartfelt actions, and the money bills are in the shape of a heart.
So you would be the bank. You would be the bank of love.
Bank of love.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Mm-mm-mm.
Now, how real is that? Was I supposed to give a serious answer?
No,
Nope.
don't go to reality. We're not in the conversation of reality here. We're just
No.
in, what?
But it's a good question because I'm living in a beautiful apartment. I've been so lucky to live in an old house on the lake in a small apartment that's subsidized by the city. So I've been able to put some money into the rights of Mother Earth. And now I have to leave this apartment. And I'm pondering about what a space makes you feel a certain way. And there's a small apartment across the lake that I get to go and see next week. But who will I be if I move in there? Who do I want to be? I don't want to shrink. That will make me feel a certain way. I think it will make me feel small. So I think I don't want to be small. I want to be as big as the world. I want to be as big as the world and have my heart and my money and my energy is like it has a soul. And I want to share that. And I don't want to shrink that. I want to expand that.
Beautiful. I can so relate too, because I am in the conversation of, is my apartment too small for me? Do I need to move my business out of my apartment? Do I need just a bigger house where I can have all of it still in one space? And I'm not exactly sure. I just keep putting it out to the angels. Okay, angels, show me. I'm putting it, and I keep getting clearer about what are the pieces that I need for it to make me happy. And I keep going, again, when the right place is ready, just show me, keep showing, keep putting me in the right direction, and I just get clearer and clearer about what it looks like. But like maybe your place might be small, but maybe it has like French doors to a beautiful yard, or you know, an inside outside space, or I keep seeing a tree house. That's what I keep getting when you're talking.
I see
A tree house for you.
I see your house is the forest. Your apartment is just a place where you live, but your house is the forest. That's the image that I got right now.
Yeah.
It's like you're not limited by a place where you live or where you sleep.
I am
And
thinking
you're
of a
never
tiny house in nature. Like the house, like you said, it doesn't have to be large. A tiny house would be fun. With just a huge big window front, but with nature, so I can be more in nature, and then I don't feel shrunken. I feel as big as the world, as big as the forest.
It's very interesting. It's a very interesting conversation that about where you live. Does that shrink you or expand you? Like I remember when we moved into this house and I was thinking, wow, okay, am I still the same person now that I live in this house as I was before? Right? Because our house is really big and we came from a smaller place and I'm still the same person. Just where I live, where I sleep, where I eat is different, but it doesn't change who you are, right?
Yeah.
And I literally I see, you know, it doesn't matter where you sleep or eat, because nature is your house. Nature is your home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I still want to see you in a treehouse, though. So just saying.
Treehouse, I would love that idea.
I've wanted to live in a treehouse since I was a little kid, and it's out there. I will have a treehouse one of these days. But I think Doris, you may need a treehouse too.
I would love that. Just have to find the place.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there. Treehouse is calling. Okay, last question, Doris. What do you want people to remember about you?
How the rights of Mother Earth, of course, and how one thing to how we can reach 1 million signatures, how we can get the UN to adopt the declaration, but also how can we live knowing Mother Earth has rights? How would you live? How would you do your daily shopping? Like I'm practicing zero trash. I still have to do a lot better, but how would I celebrate the rights of Mother Earth in my daily way of life? How would you celebrate and live knowing the rights of Mother Earth, or knowing Mother Earth has rights as well, and all living in harmony with nature?
That's definitely food for thought, right? It's just like, and as I said before, for me, it's that thing is like, if you lose, everybody loses, right? If nature loses, everybody loses. And then it keeps coming back to, who do I need to be, right? Like, what does it require from me to keep that balance, right? So we all can win in a way. Beautiful. So Doris, do you want to tell us how we can support you, where we can find you, and just so you know, it all is going to go into the notes for the episode, but can you just tell people how they can find you and how they can support you if they choose to do that, and root for you and, you know, connect with you?
Oh, thank you for that question. Well, the petition is on our website, which is rightsofmotherearth.com. If you want to reach out to me and become part of the tribe, It's Doris at rightsofmotherearth.com. We are going to deliver 1 million signatures to the COP30 in Brasilia next year. And come along.
Is there anything you want people to know or do?
Sign the petition. Please sign it and share it. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions and share more about the rights of nature.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this lovely, lovely, uplifting conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. We are totally inspired. We're so excited. We are just blown away, you know, as Christina always says. Yeah, we cannot wait. Woo! We're going to come and visit. Woo! And thank you, all of you, for being here. Thank you for listening. If you loved this, please, please just go to Doris's website, sign the petition. Please leave us a review. Please share this so more people can just fall in love with Mother Nature and with Doris. And please always remember that you are extraordinary. You rock. Until next time. Have a
wonderful day. Bye for now. Doris, say goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.